Alrighty, this video is an homage to the immense, possibly even overpowered power of Reapers in Marine Arena. As per personal preference, I will be choosing Fast Speed and Marauders as my compound choice, because you can, with proper micro, counter Zerglings and Zealots with them, which means that if you're not confident of Marine and Marauder micro, choose something else at the start. As per usual, the very first thing you should do is break down the rocks and then proceed to take control of your Zelnaga tower. With any luck, your ally will do the same. If you're lucky enough to have a good player on the other side of your tower, then you can expect that he'll also want it. This is where something called micro is needed, and you'll have to fight your enemy off to get the tower. Scanning the high ground so more of your units can shoot your enemy is advised, and asking your ally to scan for you when you don't have any energy won't hurt either. As you can see, I proceed to scan the high ground and then make a concave around his units, leaving him only one choice, which is to run away. Now, he could of course have scanned like I did, but I had units on the lower ground, meaning I had already made the concave. And he stimmed down the ramp in Pro Standard, but that won't ever help you if you run into twice as many units and a concave. Now that you've established your Zelnaga tower, leaving one unit on there so you can see the high ground, it's time to take all of your remaining forces and fight the massive mess that's happening in the middle of the map. Now it's important to realise that Reapers are useful between 4 and 10 minutes, 4 minutes being the first time that you can even buy a Reaper, and 10 minutes being the time where people get extra cash and start taking into things that have splash damage, like High Templar or Marauders and Marangers, or even a Ghost, which can 3-shot with a normal attack, not even talking about snipe here, but with a normal attack it can 3-shot a Reaper. Depending on the skill level of who you play, you can usually afford to buy +2, maybe even +3 attack on your mercenaries, and then have 300 or so minerals at the 4-minute mark. This means that you can buy 3 Reapers, which will then, and I should mention very quickly, bring in more minerals to buy even more Reapers. Now usually when playing Reapers I try to aim for a total of 5, so I get 3 and then make enough money to buy another 2. I find that this is a good number because it's not 8, which is the limit, and that would mean, having 8 Reapers means that you need to be countered. Somebody is going to have to do something specifically to kill off your Reaper, specifically to damage you, and you don't want that in the game. You want to do things that will give you an advantage without provoking somebody else doing things deliberately against you. Now, coincidentally, my ally actually buys Reapers himself, which means that I have to wait until there's more in the shop. There's a cooldown on them, it's quite quick, but it did mean that I needed to wait a little bit before I could get my Reapers, and didn't get them at the fastest time, which is at 4 minutes. Now 30 seconds doesn't matter with Reapers, but like I said, you need to get them before 10 minutes, and you need to have a good amount of time to be able to use them. And now I've got them, I can go out and I can start attacking pretty much anything. Like anything that the opponent has, except for very few things I can talk about later, is going to be Reaper feed. It's just going to be something that Reapers will tear through. Zealots, Zerglings, Marines, Marauders, Reapers will destroy all of them. They do particularly well against light units, they have a bonus damage to them, but they will just destroy absolutely everything. And you can keep an eye on the scoreboard, you'll see that me and Baza, who are both using Reapers, not even microing, you don't even need to micro. Like there's Zerglings there, I don't need to bother microing them, I don't need to bother kiting them because I've got Reapers which just do a ridiculous amount of damage. So if you just keep watching the scoreboard, compare it with everybody else who doesn't have Reapers, and just realise how powerful they are. Notice as well that I've got them all hotkeyed, all 5 of them hotkeyed on not 1 but 5 hotkeys, so if they're ever in trouble I can always watch their HP and I can pull them back behind my army. They've got a very fast running speed, they're faster than all the other things. I think maybe not faster than Stim, but they can still run for anything. But one of them just got damaged there. Very clever player tried to target it down, but I was able to look at my hotkeys, see that one's going red, going orange, seeing that something's wrong, and then running back. And like nothing's even dangerous anymore. Like Masslings to just Marine Marauders is quite dangerous, but not with Reapers because of the massive damage up. But they can jump up cliffs, they can finish stuff off like that, and then run back immediately. You have to remember that you've made an investment, you've spent 500 minerals into these really high power units, low HP but high power, and you just need to keep on using them. You need to use them behind your army, and when your army is done, essentially all my army is doing right now is soaking up damage, and when that's done, I can go and use Baza's army and make sure that my Reapers are always firing. Basically, you need to get it in your head that the more your units are firing, the more your Reapers are firing, the more damage and the better your investment is being. If you just bought 5 Reapers and then hid them in your base because you're afraid they'll die, then you might as well not have bought them at all because later they're going to be completely useless. Now if you look, it's only been 3 minutes since the Reapers are out, and me and Buzzer are both on 1,300 bounty. That means in 3 minutes we've managed to get like 900 minerals on all of the other players, just with a few units and a few minerals. Like minus the Minus the cost of the Reapers, minus 500 from my score, that'll make me have 800. I'm still higher than everybody else, except for Bowser, of course, who is also using Reapers. So this really, really highlights the power of Reapers. That's why I chose this replay to do it on, because we didn't even do anything special. All we did was not let our Reapers die. We didn't do any micro. Anyone can do this. You just have an army, put your Reapers in that army, and make sure that nobody targets your Reapers. If they do try and target, you just run back, and because of the way that targeting works, if you target a unit and they pull back, then obviously the rest of the army is going to destroy it. Now at this point in the game, there's almost nothing that another player could do, because having 1,000 minerals lead at such an early point in games, it hasn't even been 10 minutes where everybody gets their 500 minerals, it just means that there's nothing that you can do. Like anything that they do to counter my Reapers, I'll have enough money to more than counter whatever they did. So they might go Colossus, I can't actually remember what happens, they might go Mothership or Raven or something else, but anything that they do is just going to be not enough, because simply the way the game works is whoever has more money has the capability of winning. I'd have to be really, really stupid for them to do something that I won't be able to counter at all. If there is something like that, then the game would be completely unfair, but since it is a balanced game, having a huge 1,000 mineral lead when everybody else has only 500, then that's not going to be enough. Like for instance, somebody just tried to buy a Raven, and Ravens are, and I'll explain this in a different video in a different article, but Ravens can counter like Reapers better than probably anything else. But he bought it from the shop and immediately was shot down, because at the moment we've got map control. There's nothing anyone else can do because we've got the map, and if they bring something else out, we'll counter it and then take the map back again. Okay, so look, they're just throwing units. If you're a new player and you want to know what to do, then don't do what these people are doing. Don't units at an army which is clearly much better than yours. All you have to do is look at the bounty score on the map, look at the upgrades that are on the enemy, and realise that they're much stronger. Now this player is doing something really clever, and he's not letting the Reapers get to him. He's sending his Zerglings round the side route, I suppose, and feeding off of the enemy. And this is a really good idea. Unfortunately, he got saviored, and so did my army, which just ran in there. I did scan to see if it was there, but I still just walked into it apparently. Remember, if you're going into somebody else's army, always important to scan. Now look, big, mighty red Colossus comes out, and Colossus obviously can do like massive damage against Reapers, so I'm keeping him at the back, making sure that he doesn't have a chance. And now I know I'm so far ahead in minerals that my units alone will make a lot of money just attacking red. So even if he has a Colossus, it doesn't mean that I have to stop attacking him. I can still attack him, and I've upgraded to Marauders because all I see is Zerglings and other weak splash prone units. And now I do even more damage than I did before, because now my army and my Reapers are doing huge DPS. He's actually going to lose this Colossus, and this is another power of the Reapers. They're very fast, so he's going to go up there, and I might not have been able to get that with Marines and Marauders alone, but I was able to get them with my Reapers, which can climb up the cliff and attack them. So even Colossus, which you'd think would be really good, and look, there's another one, 2 Colossus. I forgot, but apparently 2 Colossus come out. People having the same idea, massive splash damage, Reapers always in a line. Colossus is the way to go perhaps, but not when you're so far behind. If they just stayed in their base and not fed us at all, then maybe it would have worked. Now Buzzer, for some reason, he went Wraiths. At this point in the game, he probably thought I can do whatever I want and we'll still win, so I'll just go Wraiths. And it turned out that's going to be really good against Colossus, but once again, they didn't manage to pull their Colossus back and save it, and even that goes down. So at this point, the game is over and everybody's leaving. 3 people have already left, and there's nothing else anybody can really do. And basically, all that happens now, I'm not going to have to show you all this because it's going to be really boring. All it is me and my raiders and Baza and his Wraiths destroying mercenary compounds and taking command centers, and that's it. And like I said, there's nothing that anybody even did here. All we did was buy Reapers and make sure they didn't die, and the Reapers did all the rest of the work. Personally, I think it's a bit overpowered that they can do so much damage for such a small cost at such an early time in the game, but there we have it. If you are new and you at least want to win a bit more, then especially when you're playing public games, buy Reapers and win. Alright guys, this has been another video by me, Grim Reaper, and StarCraft 2 Hot Stop videos. Leave any feedback that you think is necessary and subscribe to me if you want to see more videos. Lastly, if you're wondering how you can counter Reapers and stop yourself from becoming a victim of Reap, then you can check out the link in the description below, and that's where I teach you how to do it.